so that means that two things are expected: fireworks and a lot of people. Considering that, we are making a huge potato salad today. It's a Lebanese dish, and it's one of my favorites. It has the freshest ingredients that you could use. We're going to start with that now. First, I have one onion, about medium size. And what you want to do with this onion is, instead of dice it, you just want to slice them. You want to do it very finely. And make sure when you cut the onion in half, you cut it by the circumference rather than across. So you just keep slicing. Very easy. Make sure you have a chopping knife to do this, or it might be a little difficult. And you just continue on like that. Now, as you can see, the reason why you wanted to cut that direction is because you can easily separate the onion. Now, I already cut the other half, so we're going to put that in our bowl. And when you're putting it in the bowl, you just want to make sure that you use your fingers to separate each one, because nobody wants a huge piece of onion in their mouth. There we go. It's a really easy dish to make. And it's healthy, so you don't feel guilty about having seconds or even thirds. Okay, so we have that in there. Next, we have 4 vine-ripened tomatoes. I love these because, well, they're the freshest. They're right on the vine. I'm going to show you how to kind of pit the tomato. You're going to take a knife and lightly just use your knife to curve it, and then use your fingers to just pick out the center. It's really easy. If you don't want to do that, you can just slice it and then do the same thing. So basically, these are just going to be chunks, just like this. Random slices. Nothing has to be too perfect, it's a salad, but you want to make sure it's the same size in every bite. There's one. Oh, gotta keep pitting. There we go. See if you see what I'm doing. You want to be careful that you don't cut your finger, but at the same time that you get the entire pit, because that could be rough to bite on. We're going to continue doing such. Now, one thing I like about the salad is you make a lot of it, so you know that there's going to be enough for everybody. You could feed 8 to 10 and you still have leftovers. Now, while I'm doing this, I just want to take notice to the potatoes that are boiling. I have 5 pounds of red potatoes, and they've been on the stove for about 20 minutes. You want to just keep them boiling and keep poking at them with a fork to see how much longer you need them. Usually it's around a half hour to 45 minutes, but alright, so you keep cutting. Again, make sure that everything's, actually, you know what, I'm going to cut these in half, so you don't get too big of tomato pieces. There we go. Excellent. One of my favorite things about the 4th of July weekend is that you get to see everyone that you love, but you also get to eat. Everything revolves around food here in this family. That's where I got my passion. Here's this. And one more. Cut it in half. And I hope, you can see how I'm doing this. It's a very easy technique. There's one more. Make sure you have a big cutting board, because, you don't want all the juices to stream off and make a huge mess, because I don't know about you, but that's the worst thing about cooking for me, is cleaning up after it. Okay, so we're going to put this bowl up here, actually, so I can put these in. There are the tomatoes. Okay, and you can leave those juices. You don't want them to dilute the potato, because then it'll make the salad too mushy. Next, we're going to have parsley. I have about half a bunch of parsley chopped. We're going to chop it. Actually, I'm going to chop it. Now, if you can take a look here, you want to make sure you're very flexible with your hands. You want to make sure that you put them all together. Bring them all together in one big bunch, and make sure that your hand has control over it, because these little suckers will jump. Okay? and you just start slicing. Make sure you have a firm grip on the knife. Make sure you don't have your fingers in the way. Oh, see what I mean? Just keep, and make sure your fingertips aren't right in front of the knife, that your fingernails are parallel to it. Okay. See how you can get a good chop on that, and then we'll just take the rest. Okay, and then you're just going to go through a couple times. This gives the salad a really good taste. It's not overpowering, you know, but it definitely complements the starch of the potato. And there's that. And you can do this as fine as you want, or as coarse as you want. I prefer to do more fine than anything. I'm a firm believer in not having too much of one thing in one bite. There's that. One more time. Alright, perfect. So now what we're going to do, bring the bowl back and toss. Toss. There's that. Now, what I have here, this is the dressing. We're going to move on to that, actually. Let me move everything out of the way. Okay, so the dressing right now, I have about 8 to 10 cloves of garlic in here, depending on the size of the clove. It sounds like a lot, but with the amount of potato salad that you'll be making, it's not. So I'm actually using a garlic sachet. This is huge in the Lebanese culture, and you need one of these if you're going to be dealing with garlic as much as we do. So I already chopped it because it's really loud, but basically you use salt. Use a teaspoon of salt just so that it helps grind and flavor the garlic. Now I'm going to get the olive oil and the lemon. So great. So here I have 2 lemons. They're smaller, so I'm actually going to use both of them, but if they're larger lemons, I would use 1 1/2 and some olive oil. So one great technique to do is, you know, you could feel that the lemon's a bit firm. Make sure that you just put all your muscle and just roll. You can actually see and smell the oils of the lemon coming out. But this basically gets the juice of the lemon flowing easily so that you can juice the lemon a lot quicker. And this goes with this one. And I'm actually going to get a juicer because I'm not that strong. Okay, great. Here's my knife. Quick little slice. What's good about granite, you don't have to worry about slicing through it with this little paring knife. And just squeeze the lemons. Great. There's one. Half. Now, you know, a lot of these foods are very, very healthy for you. You know, there's nothing unhealthy about this. And people actually think potatoes aren't the healthiest, but we're going to keep the skin on. And the skin on the potato has a lot of fiber and nutrients. So you could feel good about eating this one. Alright. There's that. Oh! Look at a little sucker. Next one, just put all your weight in. This could be the workout for the day, considering all the gyms might be closed on this holiday. I always enjoy cooking for a large group of people. It's a challenge because you hope that you please everyone. Alright. There's that. You can see the pulse in there. We're going to leave that. We're going to take the olive oil. About measuring it, I would say, you know, 4 tablespoons. It's a huge salad. There we go. And you just want to stir it through. That's the good thing about this wood. I advise going to, they have them at Middle Eastern restaurant, or I'm sorry, not restaurant, shops, so you could get them from there. And then you're going to pour the lemon in. Make sure the seeds don't go. Get all that lemon. Perfect. And we're going to let that sit until we come back to mix it with the rest of the ingredients. Hi everyone, we're back and we actually just finished chopping the potatoes. Before that, what you need to do is strain them and make sure that you cool them with really cold water for several minutes. This actually, you're supposed to serve the salad chilled, but it also makes it easier to handle the potatoes. So I have 2 more potatoes left to show you how to do it. You can use either a paring knife or, a chopping knife. I'll show you both ways. With the chopping knife, you're going to do kind of like a 4-way here. Chop and chop. I'll show you again. Take the other half of the potato, cut that in half, one in the length, and there you go. Now with the paring knife, you're going to take the small paring knife. This is kind of for the more intermediate crowd, because if you're nervous and you're shaking, you might accidentally cut yourself. And you just do the same thing, but you do it in the air. I prefer this because, as you can see, it's a lot easier. You don't have to take the time to transfer the potatoes from the cutting board. And just go right there. Now the salad is basically done. All we need to do is mix. So I have the salad dressing mix. I'm going to pour that all over. You even use a couple potatoes to make sure you get the last bit. We don't want to waste anything. I'm not even going to use my fingers. Make sure your hands are washed. I don't think I need to tell you, but just in case. And we're also going to use some pepper. We're just going to, this gives it a light spice and taste. There we go. Alright. We're going to use our hands. The hands are the best tool when you're mixing salads, because you're not using one spoon and just, it's the fastest way, trust me. Remove your rings and just dig in. This is another reason why you want to cool it. You want to make sure it's not too hot. Just, if you see what I'm doing, you're doing a folding motion with your hands. See? Make sure all the ingredients are evenly distributed. If you make a little mess, it's okay. You can clean it up afterwards. I usually worry about it afterwards because I'm completely focused on the food. See what I mean? And you can see that the dressing, it already is getting to be evenly distributed. You've got the tomatoes, you've got the parsley, you've got the potatoes, everything. And your hand, you can just grab so much more when you use your hands. Alright. You're going to do this for a couple minutes, but make sure you don't mush the potatoes. You never want to mush it because it's okay if there's, some excess, but you want them to still have their shape so that you have something to bite into rather than it being mushy. Alright. We're going to taste test this. Hands dirty and everything. I can't wait. Let's see. This is excellent. I need a little more olive oil, and that's why I have it handy. Just drizzle. I'm more about eye measurements rather than actual cooking measurements, because you can just tell more when you're pouring it on. There you go. And that, my friend, is a Lebanese potato salad. Enjoy!